Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Okay, so let's talk about the influence of respecting time, because this is such a topic. Because if we understand that if you get what you repeat, then how you're spending your time is going to be what you're getting out of your time. And sometimes, a lot of times, we use our time, waste our time, and just kill time and not get anything back from it in return. And it's not meant to be like that, because if that happens to us, we find ourselves in a place of just great big want in our hearts. Have you noticed that? We just feel empty and hollow and like, is this really all there is? So we have to start taking a peek-see at what's going on with our time. So that is a clarifying question. Where am I spending my time? Because it is like literal currency. Well, not literal, but it's like figurative currency. You're spending it on something. Is it worth what you're getting back in return? Is the big question. And this is something that we need to all write down and ask ourselves, because oftentimes that time just flits away. And then we look at, and they'll say, how many times have you said, look at the clock? Can you believe what time it is? Oh my gosh, time flies. I mean, we say all of these things constantly about time without having an eye toward redeeming our time, toward making our time really, really and truly count. So a lot of this is this colossal waste of time. I mean, during the pandemic, how many of us, yes, I'll raise my hand, have binge watched something on television on the regular? How many of us have done that? That's the thing that we need to look at. And there's, again, a lot of those flip statements about just, I'm just killing time. And what are you doing? Just wasting time. It says what we're doing. It says that we don't have a great appreciation or great respect for time. Time is the only thing that we cannot get back. How many times have you looked over your shoulder in regret over something that happened in the past, something you can't redeem at all? We all do that a little bit with our children, don't we? Oh man, I miss those days. I miss that time. Whatever. Or I have a regret. I mean, I do. I've shared my regret. I regret that I ever sent my son to military school. If I could do it all over again, I would not. Do I live in there? No. But that's a whole different, kind of a topic. But I want to encourage you to make the most of your time. As a matter of fact, if you want to go there, it's a whole lot of biblical. We're told to make the most of our time, taught to number our days, to walk in wisdom, and to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And this is all based on what? The time continuum that we understand and know and live in. So where does it go? If we're going to and I always say to you, you got to start with the time block, right? Time blocks are absolutely critical. It's everything, because your time block is going to give you a written report of where it is. We have a time block sheet for you, and I'm going to explain really quick how to use it. You'll get it, and it's just got basically the whole day written out, like starting at about 7 a.m. to 7:37, blah, 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 all the way down with lines. And all you do with it is you don't write down every jot and tittle of everything you're doing. I took a breath at 5:04 p.m. at the 30th second or something, not like that. But you write down like where this time is going so you can see what on earth is going on. You go to savingdinner.com/time to pick it up. You just print it off and use it. If you are one of these people who are saying, I don't even know where the time went. Yeah, this is for you, because this is how we get into the place of living lives that are on purpose, that are vibrant, that are worthy of our time, and that are worthy of our God. Because if we've been put here on purpose at such a time as this, then we have to make an account of what how our time's been spent. It's like somebody handing you cash. When you're being handed cash and you're asked to make, an expense report, from how you spent your money or whatever, you're not going to just say, well, I'm not really sure, or, I think a few of it went here and a little bit there, but you know what? That isn't the way it needs to work. It needs to be spent because it's in a way that says time is precious, as if you had gold medallions jingling in your pockets. So that's the clarifier right there, is understanding what time is and how we get to do it. So where does it go? Social media. Now, understand, I'm going to talk about some of these things. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly part. The good part of social media is we're here. You know why we do this? We do this so that we can connect and be a part of a community, so we can be better in different things. We're here on purpose for a reason, right? This is good social media. Then there's the other social medias where, you might as well be a troll, because you're sitting there and you're throwing stuff out and you're getting whatever and you're waiting to see what the comments are. And then it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Why? What are you are you going to change that person's mind? What's going to happen here? And the ugly part is it can get really dark. We've seen this just, recently, it's just the way it is. This is what happens. We have to look at social media as something that can be a bright spot in our day. But if you're spending all day in it, it's a time suck. So think about that, and where are you in your social media place? Number 2, games on your phone. Let me say this. A game on your phone can help break up the day. It can give your brain a little tune-up if it's something that's worthwhile, like doing a crossword or a word thing or a Sudoku or something like that. It can do that. But if you're there all day, again, time suck. So using things judiciously with your eye on the clock, and I hate to be like that, but in other words, our time is too valuable to be spent for an hour on a game on your phone. And if it's Candy Crush or something inane like that, come on, let's figure that out. Because remember, what are these people doing who are creating these games? They're doing it in a way that is addictive, super fun, and wants to suck you in. And they're even looking at your wallet as well. So keep that in mind, and don't be a chump to their thing. Don't let it happen. Same thing with TV. Binge watching became a big deal, especially during the pandemic, and it became almost a nightly thing. We almost got there, and we're watching this, and then we're watching that, and then I was like, hold the phone. How much TV can a person waste? 55 minutes a day looking for things they can't find. That's so true. Yeah, there's so much time that we waste. I'm talking right now about big chunks of time or little dabbles of time where we don't recognize it. And if we have that time sheet in front of us, the time block sheet, and every time you just wrote game, in it, even if it's just for a minute or two, at the end of the day, add it up and see how much time you're really spending on that. And then there's reading junk. Let's just hear it for the romance novels, the bodice rippers and all of that. Is it edifying to you? Is it edifying to your heart? Or does it make you think, my husband's blah, he's not anything like, this Sir Lancelot, whatever, Dubois of this thingy. He's not anything like that. It makes us start to compare ourselves with fictional characters. I used to get, when I was in high school and then a little bit in college, I got sucked into soap operas. All My Children. Do you remember that? Oh my gosh, Erica. Erica on All My Children. I was just like, what's she going to do next? I was involved in her life. Sucked in. Why? To the point where my friends and I would, can you believe what Erica did today? What a tramp. Blah, 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 blah. We spent our time and our energy on that, and then we talked about it afterwards. Really? People do that with The Bachelor. They have polls and sweepstakes and, whatever. And think about, is that redemptive of our time? So we have to look, and then I'm going to take you to one more place. That's your thoughts. If we live in the past of, oh, if only, oh my gosh, I just so regret, and if I blah, 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 if we live in that place of regret and not put things into the experience file, we've talked about that so many times, we are not living a life that is honoring of today, nor will it honor tomorrow, because we'll never get to today. You know, we won't have an eye for the future. We'll just have regret in the past. And it doesn't work that way. We've got to have an eye toward our calendar, toward everything that we do in our lives. How do I redeem the time? So here's what you need to do. You know, you need to go into the place of understanding that your time is, that respecting your time is respecting your life. That's huge. It's respecting the life that's been given to you, that you are here on purpose for a reason. And you can't do that if you're sucked away, if your time is sucked into all these other pursuits. It's not going to happen. You're going to lose it. So I've got a couple of things for you, and I'm going to add to maybe something else into your equation. Are you ready? If you are chronically late, you're robbing yourself of peace. And if you're chronically late and showing up for appointments, you're robbing others of their time. And that's wrong. It's wrong. There's no way to excuse that. And if you need to look at that, you need to examine it, and you need to make a plan to fix it. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I don't care if you're 85 years old and you've always been late. Forget about it. Fix it. Because this is how you redeem your time, and that you also honor others. Okay, that's number one. Number two, procrastination is time-wasted energy. Time-wasted energy. So it gets us to the place of pushing things off and pushing things off and pushing things off until it's too late. The pipes have burst. Until it's too late that, you know, the roof's caving in. Until it's too late that, you know, you've been chronically constipated for a number of days, and now you've got to go see the doctor. We've got to take care of things as they come up, and schedule them, because this is what adults do. It's the hard part of adulting. Nobody likes doing it, but you got to do it. You know, we got to pay for these different things. We got to pay our bills on time so we don't get hit with late fees. And we can honor our credit scores so we can buy houses and go get a car when we need to. Those are things that we need to do. And procrastinating and putting things off, it says I don't respect my time. And there's other people who are there to rob you of your time too. They're the people who are calling you up, asking you to volunteer. And if you've been this person forever and ever, and I mean, there's all kinds of good things to volunteer for. Don't let me get you know, I'm not going to say anything negative about that. But there are also times where we get overly volunteering on everything that we're forgetting our own homes, our own family, our own self-care. We've got to stand up to that, and no is a complete sentence. It's productive, it's kind, it's loving, and it's something that you need to do. And it's essential if you are going to be honoring to your own time and to those around you. Number 4 is multitasking creates an illusion of getting more done. It's an illusion. It's sleight of hand. It's like, okay, and it's like having all kinds of piles of undone things. That's what it is. It doesn't have to be like that. What we do instead, and what I've been teaching you, is to piggyback your habits on top of another. When you have a well-established habit and you want to start something new, piggyback it right on top of that. That's how you get it done, because the established habit is now going to be a trigger for you to start the new habit, and you can start getting that right in sequence with everything else that you want to do. Number 5 is track it, okay? Because we know that what is measured is managed. That's why I want you on the scale first thing in the morning on sprint day, which you did, and using the measuring tape. The measuring tape is going to tell you way more than that scale is. Case in point, last month I lost 3 pounds and I dropped a whole jean size. 3 pounds. 3 pounds. Is that all? I could cry about that. Or I could say, hey, take a look at the jeans, folks. That I'm more delighted about, because it is very deceiving what goes on between your toes versus what's on the measuring tape. So remember that. Keep that in mind. Number one, I'm just saying tuck that away. But what's measured is managed. We need to know our numbers. And number 6 is we have to plan and prepare. Okay, Sarah, I'm going to just call Sarah out. Sarah is probably the most prepared. Do you see her? She's got checklist sheets. She's got, I mean, everything around her in her environment is supportive of what it is that she's going to do. I love this because it's not just a matter of, ooh, you know, groovy, nice stickers, great information and all that. There's action applied to it, you know. There's action. It gives her, okay, I can check this box. I can check this box. I'll get it done because it's in front of me. And it's in front of me. It gives you back your time. It enhances the time that you have. Because when we plan, you know, I love that. You like make lists. You do all these things when we're planning and what it is that we need to do. This is why we use grocery lists and all of that. We plan, and then we have to take the action step, jump into that part, right? Action is the foundational key to all success. What if you didn't prepare? If you just planned? Planning is going to do nothing if you don't prepare. So when you plan and you prepare, that's telling your brain, this is serious, folks. She's on it. You know, she's going to do this. So get it done. Make it happen. Step into planning and preparation. You know, the first thing I say, and this is what I used to say, this is before we even had a webinar, by the way, for the Hot Melt Sprint, but I'd say it's 18 pages. This document is 18 pages, and it is. It's 18 pages. Why? Because it's not just like, here's your plan, read it, do it. It's here's your plan. This is why we do what we do. Here's the science behind it. Here's a few recipes to do with it. And if you have any questions, ask me. Do you know, people didn't read it. And they still don't. That's why we have the webinar. But people don't read. They, honest to God, do not read it. And I get that. I mean, it's a lot of information and things like that. But what's in it? In it is everything that you need. It's planned out. It's got everything down. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't go through it and fine tooth it and write things down and underline it and highlight it, you're not going to get the most that you can out of it. Then watch the webinar too. Yes. But I used to say way back when we very first started this, September 2019, I think was when we did our first group sprint. What I said was this: read it, use it, plan it, and prepare for it like this was your wedding. You know, like it was your wedding. Why? I want you to pay attention to all the fine details. The fine details are what create the sprint, and it's what separates everything out from everyone else. It's sheep and goats, folks. That's what it is. It's sheep and goats. So listen, I get it. We all go down rabbit holes, bunny trails, or whatever you want to call it. But the point is we need to cut to the chase. Can I just throw down another idiom? Why not? We do. We need to cut to the chase. And cutting to the chase is this. Are you going to be honoring of your time? Are you going to be under the influence of your clock or someone else's? Are you going to hand the keys to your car to a complete stranger and ask them to just take off with it? Are you? Or are you going to come back and say that, you know, my time is important? Because squandering your time is unconscionable. It is a direct insult to God himself, in my opinion. We need to cut back on all of this. And this is one commodity you will never get back. You don't get this Monday back again. It's once today is over, it is a done deal. Another Monday will come about, but not this Monday, not Monday, March 8th, 2021. You get this one shot with this day. One shot. And what we need to do is start using our time wisely. Use the technology that we can. Use reminders on your phone. Use accountability groups. Use, trackers. Use whatever it is that you need to use, but use it so that you are very aware continually of what your time is and where the heck it's going. And then, one of the things that I have found that's really helped me to really redeem my own time and to really get things done well is looking at what I have to do the next day. Because I just would be done. Like, I'm so done closing up the office, blah, 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 and then I just go upstairs. And then I'll wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and I take my thyroid and I start thinking, what do I have on my plate today? But if I already know when I go to bed, I can just rest easy, not thinking about all of that. And instead just knowing that I'm getting set, I'm just mentally somehow preparing in the back of my brain for my day, and I'm ready for it. I can get in there, I can get the work done, I can do the things that I need to do, and it's helpful. And things don't fall apart. And you also will write other things down, and you're not, waking up in the middle of the night going, I forgot this, I forgot that. So all of this to say, your time is incredibly precious. It's incredibly precious. The time that you're putting into the sprint is incredibly precious. The way you do it, precious. The way that you think about it, the way that you understand it and all of that, it all works together. When we understand that time is something that is limited, we all only have so much of it. How much you have and how much I have are going to be completely different. So if we can start having great respect, great appreciation for our time and spending it wisely, rocks, pebbles, sand, remember that? The rocks go in first, the big rocks go in first, then the pebbles, then the sand. If we put sand into our glass, we're never going to have room for the big stuff in our lives. We're never going to have room for the little things that do matter. We want to have room for all the things in our lives. That's how we live a quality life. That's how we get vibrancy in. So, all that said, it's just time, ladies. It's time to really be mindful of the time. We're mindful of so many other things. The time needs to be guarded, absolutely critically guarded at all times. That's all I have for you. Alrighty. I was all into that, wasn't I? It meant a lot to me. Personally, but usually something kind of triggers something else. So that's what that was all about. But I will tell you, we're going to be talking about influence all this week. The influence of time was today. Tomorrow there will be something else that's an influencer. So I hope you'll join me all this week, and let's get this done. Let's be these women. Let's be vibrant in the minute our feet hit the ground. And please share these videos with friends, would you? And say a little something about it. I would love that. Because we want to bring more women into our group. I've been seeing, I get the order slips, and on all of the invoices, I say thank you, and I appreciate the order. And I've been seeing a lot of new faces. So welcome them into our Hot Melt Sprint group. Will you make sure that they feel warm and welcome? I mean, I brag about this group all the time, so I want to make sure that we're all doing that. Pinky's up to you, Lizzie. Pinky's up to all of you. Thanks for being a part of my little tiny circle here. You are all the best, and I appreciate you greatly. I'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, same time, right here. Peace be with you. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.